Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Courtside with Coach Crist show. I'm Greg Crist. This is my cohort, Dave Gorby, coming to you tonight from McGuffin's Mystery Hole out on Gatewood Road. Apologize for the late start, getting underway just a few minutes late, but we are underway nonetheless. We want to make sure everyone, as we always say to you, please like and subscribe, give us a thumbs up, those comment, whatever you'd like to do. We always appreciate that. And before we go any further, the first thing I want to do is I want to send out a big thank you to Mike Dunlap. Gorb, I'm sure you know who Mike is. Mike is helping with guests, and he secured our guest last week. He's also done the same thing for us this week. Wow. So Mike is great, and he's already got me somebody lined up for a future night. So he's all great at that. He's got contacts everywhere, and he likes doing this stuff. So we're going to get him on the show one of these nights and get him making a personal appearance. So we hope that can happen, and we'll tell you who our guest is here tonight in just a moment, but we want to look back to last week. Coach Alan Osborne, that was a lot of fun. Talking to Coach Osborne, what a great guy, great coach. That was a blast. And talked to another great coach today. Willie Akers was with us today. We did a recording for our Mountaineer show, and he spent about an hour with us today, which was really cool. Fun to talk to him. We talked to him a lot about Jerry West and that sort of thing. Also apologize, our kitchen staff's over there working as well, so we're hearing doors squeaking and that sort of thing. So they're over cooking up our dinner, I guess. So I
wonder where Chow's been at.
Really, we ain't seen Chow. I've begged him to come back, and he's like, "Oh yeah," but he must not have no recipes or anything. I have to check with him, see what's up.
Sonny, can you call your son, please?
Really, come on, Sonny. Work with us here. All right. Before we go any further, what we like to do always is to go out to our One Eye in the Sky, our Chopper 1 NRN weather and traffic man and his lovely sidekick. We're talking about, of course, none other than Muggy McLeod and Misty Rains. Muggy, are you there?
Yes, good evening, Coach. Way to spit it out there. Okay.
I'm tired.
All right. Yes, sir. Aren't we all? Kind of tired of it.
Yep.
Yes, sir. And the kitchen staff here says hello. The airport staff.
Yep, there you go.
Oh, so good evening, Coach. As you said, this is Muggy McLeod, and leaning on the center stick in the middle is my blushing co-pilot, Misty Rains. Kind of like your co-pilot. You lean on her hard, and she always handles everything right down in the middle.
Just like a champ. Yeah, just like a champ.
Mr. Gorby. Anyway, this is us with your NRN One Eye in the Sky Chopper 1 traffic and weather report. In honor of this week's sad news, we're flying over Cabin Creek, West Virginia.
Oh, yeah. Good one.
Yes, home of Jerry West, affectionately known as the Zeke from Cabin Creek. Not much happening in Cabin Creek today. I don't know if everyone is at home in morning or if it's just always like this. Anyway,
probably a typical day.
Yes, sir. Probably a typical day. Anyway, we are heading over Lisbion Road toward Long Bottom Lake, which is underneath L&D Hill. We have now taken a huge right turn over to Donald Street, where the holes in the road are becoming more and more apparent every day. But don't worry, the BBB federal policies are fixing every road and bridge in West Virginia now. So those on Donald Street will have to wait till their turn.
That's right. Everybody got to wait in line. Yep.
Yes, we now head east toward the actual creek of Cabin, and wanted to point out that there are no actual cabins along the creek, but there is, of course, a Dollar General.
Of course.
And yes, ironically located near Wealthy Acres, not to be confused with Zeke's W soulmate, as you mentioned a minute ago, Willie Acres.
Yep.
But, okay, so we now continue west over Karen Street, where we seem to be getting yelled at by a random lady who is obviously upset about nothing.
Yep.
Nothing of her business.
Karen
Street. Yes.
Hence the name Karen Street.
Yes, and then there is, of course, Margot from Margot's Breakfast Diner, located on the corner of 44th and West Virginia Street. Tonight's weather, of course, is brought to you by, you guessed it, Margot's Breakfast Diner. And you mention this ad, and you will get to eat every Saturday morning with that crazy lady who lives on Karen Street.
Yeah, Karen. Karen, share breakfast with you. always heard you get a burger there. You pay the price of two and you get one free. You buy one and you get one free, but you pay double the price. That's it. Go ahead, Muggy. Sorry.
Yes, you pay twice as much for the burgers.
Right.
Twice as much as the patties. Yes, okay, Coach. Tonight's weather is it is hot and crappy. It's a different kind of crappy in the area. Beyond the rain that we've had previously, crappy and cold crappy before. Now it is in a different kind of crappy, which is hot. And that it's hotter than crap, Coach.
Yep.
Kind of crappy. But it is my favorite kind of weather, Coach. The triple B.
The triple,
you know what the triple B is?
B.
I guess not.
Balmy.
Triple B. It's babes, baseball, and babes in bikinis, Coach.
Oh,
so
that's a
I
quadruple.
want all them triple B's to put your tops down and ride that bumpy road down Donald Street.
There you go.
For everyone. That's right. We'll have a parade.
That's a quadruple B.
It's a quadruple B.
Yeah. Well, I don't like this weather because I drove home 150 miles in 85-degree temperature with no air conditioning.
Yes, I'm sure your back is sweaty.
Yep, a little swampy.
Yes, sir, Coach. That sounds lovely.
Yeah.
Right before dinner.
Right.
All right. That would be called the swamp buggy.
Yep.
The old swamp buggy.
Yep.
Okay, Coach. Well, I'll let you go and get on to your show.
Right.
This is Ben Muggy McLeod and my lovely sidekick palette, Misty Rains, and your one eye in the sky NRN Chopper One extravagant weather team report. Over and out, Coach.
Over and out, Muggy. You be safe out there.
Yes, sir.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Our man, Muggy McLeod, out there at Cabin Creek. Heard I believe it was Rod Thorne, talking about Jerry West's hometown. It was on Mad Dog Russo, and he asked him about the town, where he was from. He said, well, it's kind of a small place. He said, when you go through there, he said, there's a sign that says Cabin Creek. And he said, but on the backside of that same sign, it says Shillian. So you're in one or the other immediately. So that's how big the place is.
How about that?
So there you go. Again, got a great guest up on tap tonight. Gorb, it's a little different for us. We've got a professional fisher person.
Okay.
I'm not sure what you call it. Fisherman. And he's been in a lot of tournaments. He's won a couple of big national tournaments, bass fishing, I'm assuming. And I'm going to be the first to admit I am by no means a great fisher person or a man. I used to fish a lot, but I don't fish anymore. So I was like, man, what are we going to talk about? But as soon as I found out we was going to have him, a million questions started going through my mind. I wonder about this. I wonder about this. What about this? So I got a great list of questions. I just hope we have time to get to them all tonight. His name is Jay Phillips, down in Bancroft, West Virginia. You know where that's at?
Nope.
Putnam County.
Okay.
There you go. Learn something. So we got Jay Phillips, professional fisherman from Bancroft, West Virginia, going to be on. And that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to talking to him. I went through and looked at some of his stuff on the internet, and a lot of pictures of him holding up some big old bass. So it's going to be fun. Talk to him. I know a lot of people around here can relate. A lot of people like to fish around here and fish and hunt, and so this will be a good show for them to tune into. The other thing we like to do at the beginning of the show is our Hell Yells and our Hell Nows. My Hell Yells for this week, number one, the Boston Celtics have taken a 3-0 lead over Dallas in the NBA Finals. Joe Mazzulla, our friend, is one win away from being an NBA champion, something that he'll never not be. And a lot of people don't ever get that opportunity. And these, I tell you what, these Boston fans up there, man, they're hard on him. I mean, it's like, if they win, well, he's got all them good players. Mm-hmm. If they lose, he's an idiot. They need to fire him. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And I even messaged one of the talk shows today. I know you must think that's all I do is listen to talk shows, which it is.
Yeah.
But I was listening to Michelle Beadle today, and I can't remember her co-host, but they were talking about him, and she was talking about, his youth and blah, blah, blah. And I messaged her, and I said, for those of us that know him, have watched him work, and know people that he's actually worked with, he is extremely intelligent. He has a mind, and he looks at basketball in different ways than the average person does.
Mm-hmm.
He has great control of himself, great command of the game, and he deserves a lot of credit for this team. And I don't care what any of them say. I don't care how good your players are. You got to have, they talk about Phil Jackson being a great coach. Hell,
Yeah.
I could have been a great coach if I had Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen playing for me. I'd have been a great coach, know. And the coach plays a role, and the biggest role I think in the NBA. And I could probably be wrong here. I don't have any NBA experience, obviously, or know much about it. But it seems to me like the role of the head coach is to understand minutes, understand rotations, understand mismatches, manage people's time and players and who you got playing together and all that sort of thing, and then your style of play.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's too many better than him, to be honest with you. And I think history's going to show that after he's in the league 8 or 10 years, he's going to be known as one of the best, I think. A phenomenal job. So anyway, that's my hell yeah to the Boston Celtics. My other hell yeah, you know what I did? I accidentally put down 3 hell no's.
Because I don't do hell no.
That's right. So I'm going to go ahead and do my hell no's.
Okay.
Unless you want to do your hell yeah. I'm sure it's some golfer.
Absolutely, but you go ahead. You go ahead with your hell no's. I mean,
That
some
was-
golfer.
Some golfer out there. My hell no's, of course, number one, Jerry West passing. And I went talking to Willie Akers today. It dawned on me, and I even said this to him, that we didn't know him personally. Everybody felt like in West Virginia they knew him. Everybody had met him at least a time or two. And he always treated people just like he knew them forever. Him and Willie Akers grew up together, went to WU together. They were friends from about 15 years old on, and remained close friends throughout their lives. And what I told him today was, I got the feeling in the sense that Jerry West wouldn't be happy if people were mourning. People. He would be happy if people were celebrating him, and I don't even know that he would be happy with that, because he didn't like the accolades.
Yeah.
He didn't pay any attention to that stuff. He didn't care. He even said that about being the NBA logo. Somebody asked him one time, have you ever thought about that? And you could get a lot of money out of that because of name, image, and likeness stuff. That may not be you, but it sure has a likeness like you. And I think it's obvious it's him. And he always said, nah, he didn't care about that. He didn't care one way or the other. And I heard one talking this morning, said if they would have changed the logo, would it have bothered him? They said, no, he'd been glad. He didn't care. So that was the type of person he was. So celebrating that. But anyway, that is one of my hell no's. Anytime you lose somebody, Jerry West passing away. The other hell no involves the NBA championship again. Luka Doncic. What a whiner. He needs to shut up and play.
Man.
I mean, the guy's a great player. I mean, he really is something else to watch. You like watching John Mark Kincaid out there. If you ever watched him play basketball, he plays the same way. He's a great player, but
You're saying JMK's getting triple doubles in the NBA games?
Oh, he could. Yeah, he would have been a round amount of rebound. 6'3", 6'4", 400, 350. He'd have been out there banging it. John Mark will play, man.
Hey, Luka, I'm not coach. I'm not like, but did you see Luka up when he hugged Travis Kelce there like a week ago?
No, I didn't.
He made Travis Kelce look small.
Oh, he's huge. He's huge. And I'm thinking, and he's a guard. That's what's amazing. I mean, he is an amazing player, but stop whining already. I mean, that's all. Even they said today, his own teammates, his countrymen, everybody was saying to him, "Please, dude, chill out. Just go out and play the game. Do your stuff. Because he's good." And I think everybody recognized that, but you just get tired of seeing him every single play, whether he makes the basket or not. He's crying for a foul. And, I was watching there once last night. They actually did call a foul on Derek White. Derek White's guarding him like this. Luka rams into him first, and he swats at the ball. Rammed into him again. He swats at the ball. They call a foul. And I'm like, he ducked his head and rammed right into the defender. And they called a foul on Derek White. And I'm like, but yet he cries every time he goes in and falls down and flops down that they didn't call a foul. And I'm thinking, dude, just play, man. You don't need to be doing all that. And it hurts him a lot, because one time last night he's sitting on his butt looking over at the officials, yelling at the officials, and the Celtics are going down floor with a 3-on-2 fast break because he's not getting back, and it kills him on defense because he don't play defense anyway. But anyway, that's my other hell no is Luka Doncic. He needs to shut up and play. All right. I got one more hell no, but I've already talked about it.
You go ahead and do that.
Well,
hell
my
no.
last one is
Go
my
ahead.
most hated team, and I got a lot of friends out there and buddies they like these guys. The Los Angeles Lakers. What a clown show. You know, and what's sad about that is Jerry West.
I thought you was going to say Pittsburgh Steelers, but okay.
Yeah, them too. But
Hell no, Mike Tomlin getting an
that's
extension.
right.
there.
Yeah. I would like to see him with the Browns. I love Mike Tomlin. He's a great coach.
I mean, 21 years at one organization. I mean,
That's the way they do it. And that's why they're successful. You'd think other teams would see that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at the Lakers. They have a coach that gets them to the Western Conference Finals, and they fire him.
Yeah.
You know, they're a couple wins away from the NBA Finals, and they fire him, and they're going to get something better.
I mean, Dan Hurley said no.
Well, they go to Dan Hurley, and then they make it public that they're going to him, and he's like, nah, of course they lowballed him on the money. I mean, he's going to make almost that much money at UConn. Why would he go into that mess?
Right.
You know? And now today they announced that they're interested in interviewing J.J. Redick, and I'm like, who cares? You know, who cares? You guys done bumbled this up. If I were J.J. Redick, I'd be like, no, don't think so. And, you know, just you think about Jerry Westheimer and what a great GM he was and how many great players he brought to the Lakers and how many championships they won while he was with the Lakers. And then you look at what's going on now with this bus woman and whoever the GM is, and they just make a mockery of themselves. And they get a big hell no. And I hate the Lakers anyway, but I still hate to see that kind of stuff go on.
Yep.
All right. Give me a hell yeah.
My man Ernie has won back-to-back tournaments. He was a hell yeah last week. He's a hell yeah again.
And you're talking about Ernie Els.
Yes. He's past 2 weeks he's came up from like 21st, and I think he's third on the Schwab. They call it the Schwab Cup in the Champions Tour. But yeah, he's third now. I think the other hell yeah's got to be U.S. Open.
Uh-huh.
Is on today, and old McElroy, second place right now.
Yep. Who's first, Sabatini or?
You know, Cantley. Cantley shot 6 under.
Cantley.
Yeah,
That's
Patrick Cantley. It's a leaderboard that people likes. So, and that's what people want to see.
That's what they want to see. And it's funny because early in the round I was checking the scores and I noticed I forget who was leading at the time. But they were like 1 under or even. No, they were 2 under. And then they showed that there was a group of 9 that were tied at 1 under. Of course, they had Tiger Woods' name right at the top. I'm like, dang, Tiger's playing.
That was early. That
was like 6 holes in.
Yeah, I think he birdied like the first or second hole, and then I don't know if he had birdie the rest of the day.
I don't think he has the stamina now.
Well, he's not playing. He's not playing enough because his body doesn't allow. Well, first off, he's getting older, so that don't get me wrong, he's still good, but compared to the younger guys, like his talent's got to go down a little bit. Well, now his body isn't letting him to even compete. Yeah. I mean, not to say if he was fully like 100% healthy, if he's never had all this trouble, would he play a full slate? Probably not, because he has enough money. He doesn't need to do that, but he won't just be playing once every 6 weeks. Or whatever. You can't get into a flow at all.
Yep. Yeah, and he's I feel like he's the type that here before long he's going to say, you know what, I'm not up to this.
Well, Champions Tour, you know, that's why I like Champions Tour so much because it's the guys I grew up watching, and it's basically everybody but Tiger and Phil on that tour.
And when they get on it.
Well, I don't know if Phil will be on it, but Tiger will be on it because he can ride a cart.
Right. And just think what he's going to do to that when he gets there. I mean, I know he probably don't care a lot about money and wants to stay active in the PGA, but you know, you have to believe that somebody like him, it's a competitor like he is going to say at some point, I can't compete at the highest level, so I'm out. You know, I just have a feeling that's coming before too long. As bad as you hate to see it, you have a feeling it's coming.
Yeah. My tournament season starts this week, so I guess that's another hell yeah there, Coach. Got my 4-ball tournament this week. So
okay, well,
2-dayer. Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Sounds good. All right, man.
Try to win some cash.
There you go. Maybe share it with us. Nah. All right. I'd said earlier, I thank Mike Dunlap for being so helpful with us with guests. I told him we're going to have to put him on the payroll. And I said, if we had a payroll, we'd put you on it.
Yeah, right.
But, all right, let's get a quick break in here. We got I think I had a mistake here. We got to fix on our ticker going across. We'll get that corrected. And then here in just a moment, we'll be back, hopefully, with Jay Phillips and talk about some fishing, which I don't know anything about, but we're going to talk about it just the same. So I hope you'll stay with us here on the New River Network. Greg Crist, Dave Gorby, Courtside with Coach Crist shall return after these messages. Stay with us. Yeah, it's Phillips.
Reset Wrestling is coming to you every Thursday at 9 p.m. on the New River Network. See hard-hitting wrestling action from today's rising stars in independent wrestling. If you are a wrestling fan of any generation, let us introduce you to the hottest wrestling promotion in West Virginia. You can also join a live show at the Crossroads Mall. Retro Reset Wrestling is coming to you every Thursday at 9 p.m. on the New River Network.
The New River Network would like to invite you to the 2024 Anstead Hometown Heritage Festival, taking place June 13th through 16th in Anstead, West Virginia. We now take you to downtown Anstead, where John, Brent Cashin, and Libby Lucas will tell you about this weekend's festivities.
Hi, I'm John Brent Cashin. I'm the president of the Anstead Hometown Heritage Festival for 2024. I'd like to invite you all out to come to Anstead this weekend. We start on Friday, and here in Anstead we're going to have the Lincoln County Cloggers will be performing, followed by we'll have a DJ, and we'll have karaoke, the dreaded karaoke, followed by a dance party after that. We have over 30 vendors, almost 40 vendors at this year's festival, so they'll be all over the street. There's lots to do. Saturday, we start off, there's going to be a parade, and Libby here will talk about the parade. Before the parade, the vendors will be open. Lots to do. There's a carnival here at the Midland Trail Community Center right around the corner. It's right by the fire station. Bring your kids out. They'll have a great time at the carnival. Carnival is going Thursday, Friday, and Saturday here in Anstead. There's be live music Thursday afternoon into Thursday evening, and followed at the end of the concert is a fireworks display at 9:30. There'll be a live band playing during the fireworks display, and you don't want to miss that part. On Sunday, we have a non-denominational church service in the afternoon, and be sure to come out and enjoy that, and the vendors will still be here. We have some of the vendors are going to be here. Will be the Mason-Dixon Boys. They're a chainsaw carving group, and they will be carving all kinds of items for you to peruse. We have a couple of those that are in our raffle, and our raffle is going to be pretty big this year. We've got dining set, an outdoor dining set, fire pit, handmade bench, all kinds of neat items in the festival this year. So here's Libby to talk a little bit more about the parade.
Hello and welcome to the festival. The lineup for the parade is at 12 o'clock. The parade will be at 1 o'clock. We have so many that's supposed to be here this time. We have motorcycle clubs. We have the classic cars that will be in the parade and then come around and do a cruise in and a car show. We have a tractor club that will be here. They'll also be in the parade and they will be down for the show. We have bands, we have floats, a little bit of everything. It should be really interesting this year. We have some things that nobody's seen before. The Shriners are actually going to be here too. So come on down. If you haven't called and said you wanted to be in the parade, come on down. Just join in. We're going to have a good time. Remember, there's going to be music during the parade, so while you're waiting on the parade to get started or while the parade's going on, there'll still be a band playing. Hopefully we'll get them to play some country road. But come on down. There's so much this year at this festival. You'll have a great time. Thank you.
Be sure to tune in Saturday, June 15th at 1 p.m. on the New River Network for the Anstead Hometown Heritage Festival Parade, only on the New River Network. We look forward to seeing you there, and enjoy the weekend.
Retro Reset Wrestling is coming to you every Thursday at 9 p.m. on the New River Network. See hard-hitting wrestling action from today's rising stars in independent wrestling. If you are a wrestling fan of any generation, let us introduce you to the hottest wrestling promotion in West Virginia. You can also join a live show at the Crossroads Mall. Retro Reset Wrestling is coming to you every Thursday at 9 p.m. on the New River Network. Retro Reset Wrestling is coming to you every Thursday at 9 p.m. on the New River Network. See hard-hitting wrestling action from today's rising stars in independent wrestling. If you are a wrestling fan of any generation, let us introduce you to the hottest wrestling promotion in West Virginia. You can also join a live show at the Crossroads Mall. Retro Reset Wrestling is coming to you every Thursday at 9 p.m. on the New River Network.
The New River Network would like to invite you to the 2024 Anstead Hometown Heritage Festival, taking place June 13th through 16th in Anstead, West Virginia. We now take you to downtown Anstead, where John, Brent Cashin, and Libby Lucas will tell you about this weekend's festivities.
Hi, I'm John Brent Cashin. I'm the president of the Anstead Hometown Heritage Festival for 2024. I'd like to invite you all out to come to Anstead this weekend. We start on Friday, and here in Anstead we're going to have the Lincoln County Cloggers will be performing, followed by we'll have a DJ, and we'll have karaoke, the dreaded karaoke, followed by a dance party after that. We have over 30 vendors, almost 40 vendors at this year's festival. So they'll be all over the street. There's lots to do. Saturday, we start off, there's going to be a parade, and Libby here will talk about the parade. Before the parade, the vendors will be open. Lots to do. There's a carnival here at the Midland Trail Community Center right around the corner. It's right by the fire station. Bring your kids out. They'll have a great time at the carnival. Carnival is going Thursday, Friday, and Saturday here in Anstead. There's be live music Thursday afternoon into Thursday evening, and followed at the end of the concert is a fireworks display at 9:30. There'll be a live band playing during the fireworks display, and you don't want to miss that part. On Sunday, we have a non-denominational church service in the afternoon, and be sure to come out and enjoy that, and the vendors will still be here. We have some of the vendors are going to be here. Will be the Mason-Dixon Boys. They're a chainsaw carving group, and they will be carving all kinds of items for you to peruse. We have a couple of those that are in our raffle, and our raffle is going to be pretty big this year. We've got dining set, an outdoor dining set, fire pit, handmade bench, all kinds of neat items in the festival this year. So here's Libby to talk a little bit more about the parade.
Hello and welcome to the festival. The lineup for the parade is at 12 o'clock. The parade will be at 1 o'clock. We have so many that's supposed to be here this time. We have motorcycle clubs. We have the classic cars that will be in the parade and then come around and do a cruise in and a car show. We have a tractor club that will be here. They'll also be in the parade and they will be down for the show. We have bands, we have floats, a little bit of everything. It should be really interesting this year. We have some things that nobody's seen before. The Shriners are actually going to be here too. So come on down. If you haven't called and said you wanted to be in the parade, come on down. Just join in. We're going to have a good time. Remember, there's going to be music during the parade, so while you're waiting on the parade to get started or while the parade's going on, there'll still be a band playing. Hopefully we'll get them to play some country road. But come on down. There's so much this year at this festival. You'll have a great time. Thank you.
Be sure to tune in Saturday, June 15th at 1 p.m. on the New River Network for the Anstead Hometown Heritage Festival Parade, only on the New River Network. We look forward to seeing you there, and enjoy the weekend.
Welcome back to the Courtside with Coach Crist Show. I'm Greg Crist. That is Dave Gorby. And I want to give an apology to to Darren, to people watching, to Mr. Phillips. On my way home today, I was texting Darren the information about our guest and had given me his contact information so he could send him the link to get on. And I have in my phone contacts a guy by the name of Jay Persinger who used to coach baseball over at Midland Trail. And then right under that, I had Jay Phillips. So I'm going down the road with my phone up on my dashboard, charging, and I'm texting while I'm driving at 80 mile an hour trying to get down here. And I accidentally sent Darren Jay Persinger's contact information. So Jay Persinger's probably sitting at home going, who the hell is this guy? So I apologize to Mr. Phillips and to Jay Persinger and to Darren. That was all my mistake and my fault. So hopefully we got all that straightened out, and we've got him on now, and we've been looking forward to this. So we want to welcome to the show Mr. Jay Phillips, and of course we've already talked a little bit about him, but I do want to give you some bit of a background on him for those of you who may not know him. He's from a place called Bancroft, West Virginia. I think I said that right, down in Putnam County. He's a member of Bass Nation, 25 years, Bass Nation, West Virginia. And then another thing here that Mike sent me, member Bass, 45 years, so I'll have to get clarification on that. He's a 10-time state team member, 2-time national championship contender. And what we're talking about is fishing and bass fishing. And Mr. Phillips, first of all, apologize for all the technical screw-ups, my fault, and we welcome you to the show. Thanks for being with us.
Hey, that's no problem at all. There's a lot more bigger problems in the world than that little bit. So we're not going to worry too much about that.
There you go. Well, good. I appreciate that. And this technology is awesome when you do it right. And it usually is not the computer or anything else, the phone, whatever. It's usually the person behind it. And I'm going to be quite honest. I am technologically challenged. So there you go. That's my excuse. When I talked to Mike and we were talking about you, and he was telling me a little bit, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I've never done this before. Talk to a guy that's a professional fisherman. It's awesome. I do have a former student from Mount Hope, Dave. You may know him, that fishes professionally. Stephen Dinkler, I think's his name. I was thinking, what would I ask him? But after we talked, I sat down and I had a million questions start popping into my mind. And I know we're never going to get to all of them here tonight, especially with me yapping. So I'm going to go ahead and start. How and when did you realize that, hey, I might be able to make a little bit of money at this, and what went into getting you, from a guy that goes out on Friday and Saturday and fishes and drinks beer to somebody that's loaded with sponsors and out there fishing for money?
Well, first of all, I never went into this for money.
Right.
I've always had a passion to compete at many things, but I'm very competitive. When I was a little boy and I caught my first fish, I have just always been in love with the sport. I eat and sleep fishing, and it's just something I have a great passion for. My great-grandfather was one of the best fishermen around here in Putnam County. He's well known. His name was Henry McNeely. My best friend that I grew up with, Eddie McNeil, who's my partner, he's a great fisherman. We fished together since we were 9 years old. And when I was able to take, at 9 years old, and take a fake lure and trick a fish into biting it, something that's not real, it just mesmerized me on, how did I do that? How did I trick this? And I just fell in love with it. And my father hated fishing. My grandfather did. It's just something that's, I think, inside you that you either like it or you don't.
Right, right. Yeah, I was, my son, I have a son, 20-year-old son, who's an avid fisherman. He loves to fish and would go every single day if he could. And I grew up fishing a lot. I mean, I mostly did trout fishing, but did some bass fishing, some other types of fishing, but never was real good at it. But I always enjoyed it. But got into coaching and all that kind of went by the wayside because I didn't have much time. But I've known people that are really good fishermen and are just good at it. Do you think it's something that you just have a knack for, or is it something that you develop over time? It seems to me that you have to have that knack for it.
Well, I think that's part of it, but you also, if you love something and you have a passion for it, you want to learn more about it.
Right.
Be basketball, baseball, whatever you have a passion for. You want to read about it. You want to try things and do things, and just little by little, over the years, I've learned how to use different techniques and try to stay up with the sport. And I think it's more just having that passion to do something, no matter what it is. When you have that burning desire to be good at something and learn all about it, you just love it. You love doing it. And you love learning about it.
So when you is there like a circuit that you fish tournaments? You have a certain number of tournaments you have to fish, or do you pick and choose? And explain the process for all that, and not just picking and choosing the tournament, but after you get there, what takes place, how's it all transpired, and what happens at the end?
Well, we have a local club here, Bancroft Bassmasters, and it's local guys here in town. Mm-hmm. And what happens is you take your top 6, just for example. We have about 20 guys in our club. The top 6 guys get to go to a qualifier in Bass Nation of West Virginia. That's the premier circuit in West Virginia. And you go to a qualifier, and there's 3 different divisions. There's a northern division, a southern division, a western division, and a southwestern division. And the division I'm in, the western division, there'll be about 130 fishermen that fish in that qualifier. So you have to beat the guys in your club here in town. Then you go to a qualifier, and out of 130 people, you have to be in about the top 30 to make the state tournament.
Wow.
And then at the state tournament level, if you're in the top 12, you make the state team. It's and you represent the state of West Virginia. And you go on to a divisional and fish against other states from Maine to Florida and everything in between. And if you're in the top 30 there, then you'll go to the national championship. So I've been fortunate enough to be in the top 10 over the years, about 10 times. Mm-hmm. And, that doesn't sound like much, but that's a lot of fishing and a lot of work to get to that level.
Absolutely.
And,
that's a lot of people.
The more competitive it is, when I went to the national championship, I'll never forget. I was my first stop. I went to get my rods out of the boat, out of my rod locker, and one of them was stuck, and I didn't want to break it off. I didn't want to damage the line, so while I'm getting my rod out, the guy from Pennsylvania, the non-boater that drew me, caught a limit of fish just while I'm getting the rods out. And I thought, uh-oh, you're not in Kansas anymore, Dorothy. You better get to work. So it gets pretty competitive when you get up there with the big boys.
Right. Oh, yeah. And like you said, with that many people fishing and people you have to beat out to get to it, that's pretty awesome to be a 10-time state team member. That's saying something in its own right there. So now when you get to a tournament, and again, I'm ignorant when it comes to all this, and I've watched it on TV. In fact, there was a guy a couple years ago that I watched a lot from WVU. There was a college tournament, and I watched them do it. But describe, when you get to the tournament, what takes place once you get there? Just describe the whole process.
Well, you get there and you pretty much know everybody, and you're talking and lying to each other and trying to feel each other out. And which way you going? You going up the river? You going down the river? You locking up? You locking down? So you just have a lot of conversation. And what they do is they draw. They have each competitor's name in the computer, and the computer picks how you blast off. So if there's 70 boats, for example, this weekend on the Mon River in Morgantown is the Bass Nation Team Trail Championship that my partner and I will be in, and we're both 34. So the computer picks boat 1 through boat 60 or 70, however many's in it, and that's how you blast off. And that makes it safe.
Right.
So you take off and you fish till, if you're in the first flight, it's 3 o'clock. If you're in the second flight, it's 3:15, and the third flight would be 3:30. And when you're finished, you gather your fish up, put them in a bag, keep them aerated well, take them up, weigh them in, and they have a nice aerated tank that they keep the fish in to keep them good and healthy. Mm-hmm. We don't want to kill our fish, and they weigh them in and put them in the tank, and you go to the next day.
So what you? I'm sorry to interrupt, but once you weigh in and then give up the fish, do they return those fish then to the water, or do they wait until it's over and then do it?
No, they put them in they have a big tank, and they put them all in the tank, and it's aerated and has treatment in it that helps the fish gain a little energy back. And then when they're all done, they'll take back the trailer down to the river and release the fish back into the river.
Gotcha. So are these, now when you go to a place like, say you're going to Mon County, is there any preparation for a tournament as like stocking fish or anything like that, or is it just natural?
No, it's all natural.
Wow.
This whole week's been off limits. We're not allowed to fish anywhere on the Monongalia River.
Okay.
This whole week. So we're just going, and you just got to go and find them and do the best you can.
That was going to be my next question, if you were allowed to practice at a place before you went. So is there an advantage to, like I think you said you were boat 34, is there an advantage to taking off earlier or later? Or, I mean, you've obviously been there before, so you kind of know, the spots you like, and I'm sure the spots you like and that sort of thing. Is there an advantage when it comes to getting to start off early?
Well, in the springtime, when fish are spawning, if you get a good boat number, boat 1 through 10, and you can get to those fish that you can actually see them on the bank, and you know where they're at, and you can catch them. If you can get there first before boat 30 gets there, that's certainly, but they're pretty much done spawning now, and it always makes you feel good to get a good draw.
Right.
It helps your confidence. My partner, he gets so upset if we're boat 30 or boat 40.
Well,
so it really doesn't bother me too bad.
Right. What about so this one's on the Mon River? Are you a moving type of water guy, or would you rather do a lake where it's just stand water?
Well, I live on the Canal River. So I'm kind of a river rat. Yeah. I know more about river fishing. In today's world, the technology that's provided to fishermen, Panoptics, where this younger generation has an advantage on me, is you go to Summersville Lake or Sutton Lake, Panoptics, you can see the fish, you can see your bait going to the fish.
Wow.
And they're almost playing a video game, and they watch that fish bite and they catch it. And there's people who have Panoptics, and there's people that can use it. I'm not real good at using it yet.
Are you allowed?
So you're like Coach Crist with technology. That's what you're getting at.
Well, it's a little bit tough. I mean, Kevin Van Dam himself, the world champion 4 times, has retired because he just can't keep up with the technology that's provided in the bass fishing world.
So you're allowed to use those during the tournament?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Well,
and I'm okay with it. I can see fish and find them, and that's good. But it's just I'm not near as good at it as some of my competitors are very good at it.
Right.
And they've made me here, believe me.
What's the difference? And again, some of these questions probably sound dumb to you, but what's the difference between like somebody like yourself who is a really good fisherman compared to somebody like Gorby, who's just an average fisherman?
Well, it's probably if he goes in Cabela's, he's looking at probably what is the best priced line and rod and reel. He might buy a line that costs $10.50. Well, unfortunately, when I'm looking at line, it's going to cost me $30 or $40 for a roll line.
Right.
Because I'm for fluorocarbon or braid and fishing reels. He may be looking at a $50 rod and reel, where just my reel would probably cost a couple $100.
Right. Right.
Listen, Jay. Go ahead. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
No, that's kind of, I think, equipment-wise, people, I probably look at more advanced equipment, lighter, more sensitive stuff than just your average one would use.
I was just going to say, when I go to my family's camp on the Greenbrier River, I'm more interested on the case of beer I'm picking up on the way there.
I think that was always the problem with my success at fishing. I spent more time worrying about where I was going to sit down and have a cold one than I was where I was going to catch fish.
Nah, that Greenbrier River relaxes you. I'm telling you, man.
When you now, obviously, you put time into this. Obviously, when you go out, and again, these may sound like silly questions, but when you go, do you consider it like practice? Do you go out and practice, and when you do? I mean, what do you do? Do you pay attention to what the fish are biting on? Because that could change from day to day. Or what exactly do you do when you're out there working on your game a little bit?
Well, I'm terrible at practice. I try to notice where the fish are located. Are they in grass? Are they around wood? Are they in 8 feet of water? Are they in 2 feet of water? Or are they in 20 feet of water? Once I figure out where they're at in the water column, say 8 feet, then are they in 8 feet of water around wood? Are they in 8 foot of water around grass? Well, if I figure out it's wood, do they like the presentation slow sinking at them? Or do they like something zipping past them? Or so just a lot of variables there, but you just kind of have to break it down. And collar, what collar do they like? There have been years I've used a certain collar and just here on the Canal River and won almost every tournament on Wednesday night. And the next year they wouldn't even touch that collar.
Right.
So you just constantly analyzing everything that's going on around you.
So do you find that, like, say you go out this evening in the Canal River and you make notes on everything, or mental notes anyway, do you find that it's similar then in the Mon River? I mean, that's a long ways away. I guess what I'm saying is when you figure something out like that, does that carry over, if you're in the same time frame, does that carry over to a different fishing spot?
Sometimes it does. I mean, it's going to be reasonably close to the Canal River, but there's a few more fish, I think, to be caught in the Mon River than the Kanawha. But it's reasonably close.
Right. I was going to, again, these questions I know can sound crazy at times, but when you do the tournaments, are you limited on the type of baits you can use? I mean, can you use live bait, or is there spinner baits, whatever they call the different baits? Is there a limit on what you can use and how much of it you can take with you when you go out?
Now, you can take as many lures as you want, but typically, if I've got 2 rods on the deck of my boat, that means I've found 2 things that the fish love, and I'm going to be dangerous that day.
Right.
If I've got 10 rods laid out with different lures on each one of them, everybody knows you're in trouble.
Trying to figure something out.
Fighting on, so you're going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at them. And you cannot use live bait. You can't use minnows, night crawlers. crawdads or anything like that.
Right. Okay. Do you make any of your own lures? I know you're a businessman. Do you make any fishing lures of your own?
I don't really make my own, but I make adjustments and changes, and
Okay.
I change skirts, blades, maybe put various collars on them, things like that.
Wow. It's pretty fascinating just to think
Right.
about the process. The process is more than just waking up and going out and taking your pole and going. And I have to ask you this. I did take note a year or two ago at a tournament somewhere where some fellows decided to cheat, and they put lead sinkers or something inside their fish after they caught them. Have you ever seen anything like that, or been around when that happened?
I have not. Typically, well, not really typically, but West Virginia folks are the people that's associated in Bass Nation of West Virginia are very ethical people, and they know if they get caught, they're banned for life. And if you cheat someone from here, they pretty much banish you from life, from not only the fishing circuit but the friend circuit and every other.
Yeah, I guarantee you.
Yeah, so we've never. I think years ago there was a father and son that got caught cheating, but I really wasn't familiar with them or what happened. But I do know they were disqualified from any event from that point forward. So that's a big price to pay if you want to be a cheater.
Yep. Well, I'm not so sure if I remember correctly. Those guys again were banned and paid hefty fines, and I think maybe even spent a little time in jail if I remember correctly. But when there's money involved like that, that can be serious. Because somebody's out there working it, doing it honestly, and we all watch the baseball players that took steroids. You know how you feel about that. It's just not fair when somebody tries to get an advantage like that. But that was on verge on ridiculously there. I was like, you seriously thought they could get away with that,
Those guys won boats. They won $50,000-$60,000 at a time.
Yeah.
And so they were that was pretty bad what they did, and cheated a lot of people and really stealing from people.
Exactly. Yeah, so it gets really serious. So that was a crazy thing. But again, when there's that much at stake, you can't put it past people to try that kind of stuff. I think I read somewhere in your bio that you I think have a farm, or and you have some business ventures and that sort of thing. Tell us a little bit about your background, what you do, and your business and all that.
Well, I've been a manager just about all my life. I was a manager of a little company called Terramite Corporation. I was the plant manager there. We built every piece of a small backhoe loader and a dozer here in West Virginia. You've probably seen them around cemeteries. I worked there. I was the branch manager for Cummins Engines for several years. I was I was over the mining industry in the eastern U.S. For several years with Cummins. So I dealt a lot with the mining companies, and I was the person that when the mining companies and the Cummins branches couldn't do business the way they should, they would send me to make everything better, keep the peace, and make sure we did what we were supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And usually a lack of communication. And now I'm the branch manager at a company called MH Equipment. We're a Hyster forklift dealership. MH Equipment is the biggest Hyster forklift dealership in the world. We're scattered from West Virginia all through the Midwest, and it's a great little company. I have 110 acres in northern Putnam County. And my son and I, my grandson, Jace, I got a new little grandson who's
Awesome.
10 months old, but looking forward to him sharing our farm with us, our family farm. And but I've been a manager and worked with people for 30 years of my life, and I enjoy that. I do. I like being a manager to help business, but also to help people. And
awesome.
I think that's a lot to do with the fishing circuit too. It's,
right.
Being around the people.
Yep. That's awesome.
Kind of like your church, not the building; it's the people in the building. Make the church.
Yep, that's right. Now, I may be wrong on this, but I read somewhere where your farm at one time, maybe still is, was a deer. You had a deer farm. Is that correct?
Well, no, it's not actually a deer farm, but I used to take customers to these big ranches in Michigan on these hunting trips. So when I bought this farm, I kind of set my farm up just like those ranches where, I feed the deer year round. So the little fawns that are born right now have plenty to eat. And we don't shoot anything that's small. We try to preserve our deer and shoot mature bucks in the fall. But we kind of run it like a deer ranch, but to say it's a deer ranch, probably not.
Probably not. All right, I'll tell you what. This is. I think we could talk to him for an hour about this fishing thing. That's really intriguing. And when do you leave for Morgantown?
I'm leaving tomorrow afternoon.
All right. Well, is there any way? Sometimes these things are on TV. Any chance there's any coverage on this?
This will actually be in Marion County in Fairmont.
Mm-hmm.
And it's usually on the local news up there. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what stations, but
right.
It'll be on the news, I'm sure, that way.
Awesome. Well, we'll keep a close eye on that and report back next week to see how you did. And don't take any lead sinkers with you, though. We'll have to get on you for that. But one last thing here, Jay, before we let you go, we've kept you too long as it is, but we have a little segment on here. I was a basketball coach for 28, 30 years, and we have a little segment here we call Shoot to Three. And what we do is we ask you 3 rapid-fire questions here that have nothing to do with anything we've ever talked about, and probably you never will talk about again. But we have you answer those questions in about 30 seconds. Gorby's our enforcer. He comes to your house and kneecaps you if you get out of line and don't answer the questions in a timely fashion. And but we really don't have any rules. And Gorby will not come to your house unless you're going to feed us. Then we'll come. Yeah, but we have no rules. We just like to do this for fun. So if you're willing to play along, we'll ask you some questions here real quick.
You go ahead.
All right. First one. If you came with a warning label and it was tattooed across your chest or your back or your leg, what would that warning label say?
Don't mess with my family.
There you go. Good one. Mm-hmm. Good answer. That was quick, too. That was well within the 30-second range, wasn't it? All right, next question. And you have to explain this. For $300,000, would you fish an entire tournament with no clothes on?
No.
Okay.
And I wouldn't, because for $300,000, my son and my wife would laugh at me.
You never get to come back home, huh?
So it's not worth it to me.
There you go. I agree with you. I would have people probably pay me to put my clothes back on if that was the case. All right. Number 3, forget for a minute that you are married. Would you rather catch the world record bass this weekend or go on an overnight date with Jennifer Aniston, and why? And you're not married, so it don't really count. You can be honest.
I the world record bass personally.
Ooh, that's tough there.
I'm not going down the road at all. So I would rather catch the world record bass.
There you go.
Well, that's been my passion my whole life. I once canceled a prom date because the fish were biting.
Well, there you go. There you go.
Says it all
There
right
you
there.
go.
I can't,
Jay doesn't like friends. That's what it comes down to. So.
I can't lie. I mean, I'm not much of a fisherman anyway, but I don't know, man. I think I might have to go on the date. Maybe I'd take her fishing. How about that? All right, Jay, we appreciate you more than you know taking the time. I know it's been quite a hectic hassle to try to get you lined up to get on here and everything, but we do appreciate it, and we look forward to having you back on again sometime after you catch that world record, or after you win a tournament, or after you just go fishing one day and want to talk about it. We'll definitely have you back on if you're willing, and again, we appreciate it.
I'd be glad to. Thank you guys very much.
All right, thank you, and good luck this weekend.
All right, buddy.
All right, bye-bye. Jay Phillips,
Bye-bye.
Professional fisherman.
Yep.
That was interesting, Gorb. I'll tell you right now. I know, like I said, I'm not a fisherman. I don't know anything. Sammy goes, and he comes back telling me all this stuff, and he's got the $200 reel and all that, and tells me all about it, and I have no clue what he's talking about. He shows me these lures and tells me what they do. But he catches a lot of fish, and I'm so happy that he likes to fish, and I'm so happy that he likes to catch and release. He puts them back. He don't bring them home. His first couple he brought home because he was so excited. I kept the bluegill in my freezer for about 5 years because he wouldn't let me throw it away. It was the first one he ever caught.
Man.
He wouldn't let me throw it away. So, but he catches and releases now, and he's a good fisherman apparently. And I meant to ask him, and I let one of the questions get away. I was going to ask him what's the difference in what makes a good fisherman? How do you what qualifies you as a good fisherman? Is it how many you catch? Is
it's obviously not going to Cabela's or Bass Pro Shop and
buying $10 line.
Yeah.
All right. We appreciate Jay for being with us. That was a lot of fun. We look forward to talking to him again down the road. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back here in just a minute. I think we got an audience caller that's going to be talking to us. We'll talk to them before we sign off for the night. So you stay tuned for that. You're watching the Courtside with Coach Crist show on the New River Network. Dave Gorby, Greg Crist. We shall return after these messages. Stay tuned, everybody.
Retro Reset Wrestling is coming to you every Thursday at 9 p.m. on the New River Network. See hard-hitting wrestling action from today's rising stars in independent wrestling. If you are a wrestling fan of any generation, let us introduce you to the hottest wrestling promotion in West Virginia. You can also join a live show at the Crossroads Mall. Retro Reset Wrestling is coming to you every Thursday at 9 p.m. on the New River Network.
Welcome back to the Courtside with Coach Crist show. Dave Gorby, Greg Crist, coming to you live from McGuffin's Mystery Hole out on Gatewood Road. We appreciate you tuning in tonight. We had this guy on last week. He called in, and we couldn't get him in. We ran out of time, but he has called us back this week, and I think he took notice of Darren's, I don't know if you call it misfortune or fortune or what you call it, when he had some surgery this past week, or week before last, and he's in recovery from that right now. And I think this doctor may have been the one involved. I'm not sure. We're going to ask him about that. But we are going to welcome to the show Dr. Wayne Kerr Chop. And Wanker, how you doing?
Good evening, Coach. It was a turn of fortune for him.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right.
And an absolute fortune for me. I kid you, yes. Anyway, Dr. Wanker Chop, chief surgeon, plastic surgeon for breast implants at the Stormy Daniels Institute.
Ooh, wow.
Otherwise known as 0 to 34 DTs. I joke you, Coach. I joke you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes. In my spare time, though, Coach, I do organ removals on the black market. and organ repairs at the music store. Just joke, Coach. Just joke.
Joke again.
Yes, I get you.
Oh,
but I do only one O in my do, of course, Coach. I do organ repairs in the Morgantown, West Virginia area, typically in the parking lot of Ruby Memorial.
Right. Sounds real safe.
Yes, this type of organ repair, though, takes a very particular set of skills. Skills I have acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for testes like you. I mean, another joke, Coach. I get you. I get you. Yes. Anyway, Coach, seriously, I am a second-generation surgeon. My grandfather was a master family jeweler. He handled jewels all day long, every day. Then my father followed in his footsteps and became a nut farmer who specialized in Brazilian nuts. And he handled nuts all day, every day. Then I followed the course and became a urologist. I do not know why, the reason for this, but go figure. I kid you, Coach. I joke you. Yes, but then this is a sports show. So I called today to educate your sports audience about the many kinds of different balls. Not soft balls or hard balls, but 2 balls, no strikes. So I talked to you today in specifics about reverse vasectomy procedure.
That sounds familiar.
Yes. Now, pay very close attention, Mr. Gorby.
Okay.
One day, you may need to do this exercise, and you may have to perform a surgical procedure in the Walmart parking lot. I kid you, Coach. I kid you, Mr. Gorby, too. Okay, here we go. Step 1. Here we go. You ready? Everybody, take notes. Everybody. All right. Use a microscope if necessary to locate scrotum and make 2 small incisions. And this all day. Okay.
Darren started to break out a cold sweat.
Yes, as he did.
I think we're about to pull the plug.
2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, he broke out that cold sweat too in Ruby parking lot.
Yes, he did.
Okay. In this very particular case, a very small incision to access the severed end of the vas deferens. So yes, and very, 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 very small incision. Right. Anyway, okay. So the step number 2. Check the fluid from each tube to see if swimmers are present. Then reconnect the tubes microsurgically reconstruct from the epididymis to the vas, the epididymis, or something like that. Yes. Anyway, step number 3.
Can't pronounce it, but you know what it looks like.
Yes, it is the very small epididymis. In this case, some have very large epididymis. Anyway, lastly, you suture the vas deferences in 2 layers to approximate the inner tube. Not a bike inner tube, but a inner tube.
Right.
And yes, you suture it, and then you use the second layer to seal the outside to make it watertight for showering, of course. Anyway, check for leaks and tighten nut if necessary.
Right.
Careful not to over-tighten, as you might strip the threads. My bad, Coach. That was another joke. That was a plumbing joke. Anyway. I do plumbing on the side. Yeah. And in the front, too.
Yeah.
Anyway, I kid you, Coach. Just another joke. And, yes, there was pun intended because of the plumbing and so forth. Anyway, Coach, I hope I have educated you and your millions of listeners, and of the very, very delicate process of the reverse vasectomy. Not a reverse football-like reverse, but a vas deferens reverse.
Right. Well, I think that was very informative, and I know Darren feels a lot better right now about what he's been through. I think he probably made the right choice of doctors. I don't think there's any question about that. Sounds like he got that under control, though.
Yes, very much so. So I must give you disclosure to millions of your listeners. Joke again. Warning, do not try this at home unless you have steady hand and very small set of tweezers. Otherwise, call Mr. Gorby. I hear he has both.
All right. All right, Dr. Chop, we appreciate you calling.
Yes, sir.
Gorby's over
you,
laughing.
Gorby.
Yeah.
I joke you, Mr. Gorby.
He jokes you.
I not choke you, but I joke you. Anyway, good night, Coach. I now go drink Sleepy and finish my new book at home for best differences for dummies.
There you go. All right, Dr. Chop, we appreciate you joining us. That was good information. That was almost as good as the fisherman.
Yes. I don't have the worms, but I like to fish.
I got you. All right.
Yes,
all right, Dr. Chop, we'll talk to you again someday. Hopefully not soon, but someday. All right, Dr. Chop,
Very good.
we
When
appreciate
you have your Voss deference reversal, you let me know.
I certainly will. Thank you, Dr.
Yes,
Chop.
sir. Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Wayne Kerr Chop. That was informative, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was good. Yeah, I know Darren feels a lot better about what he's been through now that he actually understands the whole process. So pretty good information there. All right, that's going to do it for tonight. We got some wrestling coming up for you right after the show. We appreciate you tuning in and joining us. We appreciate Jay Phillips for joining us. A lot of fun talking to him about some fishing. And, of course, Dr. Wayne Kerr Chop and Muggy McLeod, Misty Range. We appreciate them as well. Appreciate Dave Gorby. Appreciate Darren McGuffin. And you have been watching the Courtside with Coach Chris show here on the New River Network. Good night, everybody.